My name is Madison Taylor, and I never thought one careless sentence could destroy everything I had built with the man I loved. But that's exactly what happened. It was an ordinary Saturday afternoon in Chicago, Illinois. Ethan and I had been together for 4 years, living together in a small but cozy apartment overlooking the river. We weren't perfect. What couple is? But we had a rhythm, a life we'd carefully built together. That day, we were arguing again. It started over something small, like it always did. I had left dishes in the sink. He had forgotten to pick up groceries. We bickered, voices rising, frustration bubbling over. And then I snapped. "You know what, Ethan?" I shouted, my hands trembling with anger. "My DMs are full of men who would treat me better than you do." The words echoed through the apartment, louder than I expected, harsher than I intended. Ethan froze. For a moment, he just stared at me, his blue eyes wide with hurt. Then his jaw tightened. "Well," he whispered, "that's how you really feel?" I opened my mouth, desperate to explain, to take it back, but nothing came out. He grabbed his jacket, his face pale but determined. "If that's the case, Madison, then maybe you should go see if one of them can love you the way I did." And just like that, he walked out the door. That was 3 months ago. And I've been alone ever since. Ethan Brooks wasn't just my boyfriend, he was my best friend. We met at a friend's birthday party downtown, both of us trying awkwardly to avoid karaoke. I spilled wine on his shirt, he laughed instead of getting mad, and we spent the rest of the night talking like we'd known each other forever. He wasn't flashy or smooth. He didn't flood my DMs with cheesy pickup lines. He showed up. He called when he said he would. He remembered little things like how I took my coffee or which side of the bed I preferred. When I had a rough day at work, he cooked dinner. When I doubted myself, he told me I was stronger than I believed. When I lost my father unexpectedly 2 years ago, he held me while I cried until I fell asleep. He wasn't perfect. He could be stubborn, forgetful, sometimes careless. But he was real. He loved me with a steadiness I had never known before. And I threw it all away with one cruel sentence. The first week after he left, I told myself he just needed space. I waited for him to come back, for his key to turn in the lock, for his arms to wrap around me and tell me everything would be okay. But the days turned into weeks. His side of the closet grew emptier. His toothbrush disappeared from the bathroom. His scent faded from the sheets. I tried texting him, calling him, apologizing over and over. At first, he didn't answer. Then finally, he sent one message. "You said exactly what you felt. I just wish I hadn't had to hear it." That was it. No anger, no insults, just a quiet acceptance that broke me even more than if he had screamed. Because he was right. On some level, I had meant it. Not that I wanted other men, but that I had taken him for granted. That I had let myself believe there would always be someone else waiting if things didn't work out. But now, sitting alone in our apartment, I realized the truth. Ethan wasn't replaceable. Not by the strangers in my DMs. Not by anyone. Life without Ethan was emptier than I imagined. I came home from work to silence instead of his voice asking how my day was. I cooked dinner for one, pushing food around my plate without appetite. The TV played shows we used to watch together, but the laughter felt hollow. Even small things hurt. Seeing couples holding hands on the street. Watching someone lean on their partner's shoulder on the train. Passing by the cafe where Ethan and I used to spend lazy Sunday mornings. I found myself scrolling through my phone late at night, staring at the endless DMs from men I once bragged about. Compliments, invitations, empty promises. None of them mattered. Not one of them knew me the way Ethan did. Not one of them could fill the space he left behind. And for the first time, I realized just how cruel my words had been. One evening, Sophie, my closest friend, came over. She listened as I cried, telling her everything. How much I regretted what I said, how lost I felt without Ethan. She didn't sugarcoat it. "Madison, what you said cut him. You basically told him he wasn't enough. That's a hard thing to come back from." "I didn't mean it," I sobbed. "I know. But to him, it doesn't matter what you meant. It matters what you said." She squeezed my hand. "If you want him back, you have to show him, not with words, but with actions, that he's the only one. that there's no one else. Her words stuck with me. The next week, I wrote Ethan a letter. In it, I told him everything I couldn't say in person, that I was scared, that I had taken him for granted, that I had let my pride and frustration twist my words into something ugly. I told him I didn't want anyone else, that my DMs could be full of 1,000 messages and none of them would ever matter, because the only person I wanted was him. I left the letter at his brother's house, where I knew he might be staying. For days I waited, checking my phone every hour, hoping, praying, but no reply came. It was a rainy Sunday afternoon when I finally saw him again. I was at the grocery store, staring blankly at the rows of pasta, when I heard a familiar voice. Madison. I turned and there he was. Ethan. He looked tired, older somehow, but still the same man I loved. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then I whispered, "Hi." He nodded politely. "Hi." My chest ached. "Did you get my letter?" He looked down. I did. Silence stretched between us, heavy and painful. Finally, he said softly, "I don't know if I can forget what you said, Madison. It's not just about words. It's about what those words meant." Tears filled my eyes. They meant nothing. I was angry, I was stupid, and I pushed away the best thing I ever had. "Please, Ethan, don't let one mistake erase everything we had." He sighed, his voice breaking. "I loved you with everything I had, and maybe that's why it hurt so much. Because I thought you saw me the same way. We didn't get back together that day. We didn't hug, we didn't kiss. We just stood there, two people bound by love and broken by words that couldn't be unsaid. But in his eyes, I saw something, a flicker of the man who had once chosen me. And I knew, no matter what happened, I had to change. I deleted every DM, every number, every distraction. I focused on myself, on becoming someone who could love without cruelty, without pride. Someone Ethan could respect again, whether or not he ever came back. Months have passed since then. Ethan and I have spoken a few times, cautiously, carefully. We're not together, not yet. Maybe not ever. But there's still a thread between us, fragile but unbroken. And in the quiet of my apartment, I've learned the hardest lesson of my life. Words matter. Once spoken, they can't be taken back. I told the man I loved that others would treat me better. And in doing so, I almost convinced him he wasn't enough. But the truth I'll spend the rest of my life proving if he lets me, is that no one could ever treat me better than Ethan did. And losing him taught me that love isn't about keeping score or winning arguments. It's about cherishing the one person who shows up for you, day after day, without needing to be reminded that they're irreplaceable.